to take notes with. Anytime I have somebody on our team call, I live on, does anybody else look like this? Where, like, it's all of the pages on your desk, right? It's, but I know when things are really important, I take out the book, right? I take out, it's something like this, right? And I have one of these per year. And if I go to a training or something, I take one of these to Summit. I've taken one of these to Eric Worre's GoPro event. I've taken one of these to Shalene Johnson's MIA. If I go to something that's an investment, I put it in this. And, the beauty and the trap of this business is that there's such little skin in the game to get in, right? And we're going to talk about treating your business like a business. And do you understand what you're sitting on? Do you understand the power of what it is you have access to? And for most of us, we don't. We simply don't. And I didn't early on. And I want to spend more time about this, talking to you guys, answering questions, talking mindset. But I'm not going to take for granted that you all know my story. And so there are certain people that have found me along the way and go, oh, that's the dude from Insanity, or he's in Pio, or he's a superstar diamond coach, or I've seen him and his videos, or whatever that is, and assumes that me or anybody else in this business, that you come in and go on YouTube now and you look at a Melanie Mitro or a Melissa McAllister, or name your coach, your Lindsay Matways, any Christine Dwyer, name your coach that you're just like, oh, and you just assume we all rolled into this thing. And, we had this magic bag every month of just Success Club points that were like, oh, look, it's June. Here are my points. And like this stuff just comes naturally. And it doesn't. And I feel like right now with social media, I get caught in this trap right now that I'm like, I see certain coaches just like, oh, and let me know if you want to be in my group. And there's like all these messages. And I'm like, what magic unicorn juice is that where everybody's just throwing email addresses at you? That's not how I operate, and I never have. And as I'm talking to a call primarily full of women, it works differently for us guys too. And it's one of those things that I got in so early. This used to be a pretty 50-50 network. God bless Autumn and the 21-Day Fix. It changed all of that, right? And that's really where things skewed. But my story in a nutshell is former 100-pound overweight, 3-time college dropout. Nothing about me getting into this business said I was going to have any success. I was a professional quitter at things. I was talking to my wife about this today, about getting my son into different disciplines. I said, I love my parents, but I wish they wouldn't have let me quit things so frequently. And it's amazing to me that this was the thing I stuck with. I wasn't looking for a business. I was looking for a community. The reason I went from being overweight, quitter, somebody that you wouldn't have been excited to recruit me. You wouldn't have been like, dude, this dude's going to be the foundation of my team. And my coach didn't think that. If you ever, if any of you that know Melanie Bolin, she's my coach. She's a founding coach. I don't think she had visions of team building in her eyes when she reached out to me. It was literally someone trying to help somebody else. And I tell people that I was looking for a community and stumbled onto a business. And I had a background that said I wasn't really, in my eyes, the story I told myself to that point is I wasn't really good at reading. I wasn't very book smart. I was always kind of street smart and just kind of wing things to get through life. Just enough to get through high school, kind of charm my way through things, made people laugh. That was my MO. So when I say, I don't think you realize necessarily what you're sitting on, it's because neither did I. I didn't jump into this thing. The day I signed as a coach was not an earth-shattering day in my life. I look back on it now 11 years later and I'm like, wow, that was a big day. And think about your life as well. Maybe it was like the day you met your spouse. Maybe it was conversation to a career. Maybe it was, and it's some of the biggest decisions in our life we don't realize in the middle of it, right? I think something at Summit along the way, we never know in the moment when we're changing the world, right? Or something along those lines. I've really put my own version on that quote. And why do I share all that before I get into, I love the fact that, Leslie, you put it Diamond and Beyond. because it isn't about hitting a target. It's about running through the finish line into the next race, right? If any of you have ever run or anything, you know that you're supposed to run not to the line, but through the line, right? And over and over and over again, I see coaches that have created Diamond as this big mountain. And it is a legitimate goal. And I'm about to jump into that. Like, do you understand why this is important? And why really I think Diamond is the first foundation to everything else in this business. And I've had the opportunity to work pretty closely with Eric Worre. And if you know Eric Worre, the writer of Go Pro, Network Marketing Pro, he has his own event. And he always talks about, he's like, every company has what they call a foundational rank. And it's a rank that takes a little work. You could get there in 30 days if you really bust your hump. And I was like, oh, but that's Diamond for us. And when I got in, when I saw other people having success, I thought that's exactly what it was. It was for those people. They had an education I didn't have because they were fitter, because they were older, because I had all these stories in my head on why they could have success with this and not me. And the first thing I want to tell you is, no matter who you see in this business or what they have built, you have access to the same products, the same marketing tools, the same comp plan. There is nothing that somebody else has that you can't pattern after, that you can't work your face off to get there, right? But it all starts with why are we working our face off? Why are we choosing certain pockets of our life, to, in some ways, and I'm just going to be really honest with you guys, in some ways exhaust yourself. I really do feel like the power of this thing is choosing your sprints. It's not about exhausting yourself 365 days a year. And in this entrepreneurial space, specifically those of you with full-time jobs and families, and maybe you're going to school, you're already like, to me, I feel overwhelmed. And my team knows that's the O word that I don't like, is overwhelmed. I really do feel like overwhelmed is a choice. And I lovingly look at my team and I smile at them, and I give them a big hug and I wink at them and I say, overwhelmed's a choice. Let's make a different one. Because overwhelmed simply says I have so many things to do that I'm not going to take action on one. Overwhelmed is just a way, how do I want to put this? Overwhelm is procrastination in disguise, is what it is. I'm going to say that one more time. Overwhelm is just procrastination in disguise. It's choosing to take no action instead of one action, right? So let's get back to, what are you sitting on? Do you understand what you have access to? Do you realize that this industry has created more self-made millionaires than any other business or industry ever in the history of the world? That's pretty amazing, because it has nothing to do, again, I'm going to use myself as an example. It has nothing to do with your background, your education. And know this, we all do not start at the same spot in this business. It's not like coming into a corporate structure and we're all like junior executives into this point. In this business, the life you've lived up to the moment you get involved in a business like this will either be the reason you excel quickly or be the reason that you start slowly. And I started slowly. People look at my videos, me on stage, et cetera, and I'm going to steal a Gary Vaynerchuk quote, is I am a turtle disguised as a hare. And what that means is, we all know the story of the tortoise and the hare, that slow and steady wins the race, but the rabbit had all the flash about him, right? I look like I've come in this thing and gone really quickly, but I will tell you, every accolade that you can put any Beachbody resume checkoff that I've hit, I always joke I'm probably the one that took the longest to get there. But who cares if you get there, right? So I really wasted the first year and a half of this business not understanding what I was sitting on. I always had a really kind of, I think, warped version of money. So anytime money came up, I get a little uneasy in this business. Right? If it was just about working out, I could handle that. If it was about encouraging people, I could handle that. The minute it was, I'm asking you to make a purchase, I got a little squirmish. And it had to go back to mindset. So the thing I think you can do in this business, it's the same way, You can get to diamond in this business and not have the right mindset to be in this for a long term. I'm going to say that one more time, because mindset to me, I still 11 years into this, is the battle I face every day. And so you need to understand that you're sitting on something that can change not only your life, but generations after you. I have a 7 and a 2-year-old that are going to live very different lives because the light came on for me and I saw what was possible. And I didn't believe it at first. And the first time I was challenged to do any kind of personal development, I really put it off. And I find a lot of coaches do this. Jimmy, I'm doing the workouts. I'm drinking my shakes. I'm inviting people. Great. What are you reading and listening to? Oh, well, the national coach call, which is great. Plug into that. Plug into your team calls. But I literally think every person should have 2 forms of personal development. And please write this down. You should have something every day that's improving your mindset and something else that's improving your skill set. And I'm going to tell you what the difference in those are. And both are important, right? There are times that we need the rah-rah cheerleader speech. But there's also those times that we've gone somewhere and we've gone to an event, we've heard a speaker, and we feel so pumped, and we leave and we go, wait, what am I supposed to do? I feel great. I feel excited. But what am I supposed to do? But you can also go somewhere and know all the steps and not have the fire to show up to do anything with it. I have this conversation with my coaches all the time. Jimmy, I know what to do. I just like the motivation of the drive. So what I do is literally every morning with this magical little thing that we all own here is before I know my name, my alarm goes off around 5 a.m. every day. Even though I'm my own boss, even though I make my own time. And that's why I choose sprints. That's why I choose to work this business at times really hard. Because once you get a taste of being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, for me, I don't know that there's a bigger addiction. And that's not a dollar amount. That's not a rank. That's freedom. You doing that and then introducing that to someone else. And once you taste it, you don't want to lose it. Right? But I also know, so I grab this sucker first thing in the morning and I literally flip it to YouTube. And I will pick something that is adjusting my mindset. And so, for example, I'm going to see if you guys can see this. If you could. Have y'all seen videos like this? They usually have The Rock or Leonardo DiCaprio or whatever. And they look super cheesy, but they're brilliant, because what it is, it's this one's 8. I try to pick one that's around 10 minutes. This one's the 8 morning meditation. One's you need to hear this if you've lost your motivation. It's 15 minutes in the morning. Listen to this today. Once you start listening to them, they'll end up in your feed a lot. So every morning I just pop one on, and usually there's some kind of epic music, and it's set to speakers like Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, Gary Vaynerchuk. These guys that are basically speaking life into you first thing in the morning. Because what we want to do, and what I want to do, is I want to grab Instagram and see if the post I made last night, how's it doing? How many likes does it have? Did that person that I sent a share a cart to, have they looked at it? You want to get into business mode, and you got to play offense first. If the first thing you're doing in the morning is checking a message, responding to somebody, you are starting the day on defense. And I literally have my, I don't know if you can see this, but my screensaver is a Gary Vaynerchuk quote that says, offense always beats defense. I need to check me first. I got to pour into me first before I can fix anybody else. And as a leader, as a diamond coach now, you're going to have people asking a lot of you. And you're going to teach people how to respect your time. And I used to think, by being a good leader, I'm going to get back to everybody immediately. Every notification on my phone's going to go off. If they need to know something at 11 o'clock at night, they're going to hear from me. Because I'm going to be the good leader. Right? It's like the parent who had a really strict parent, and so they go the other way. Like, I'm gonna let my kids stay up and eat candy. Like, they overcompensate the other way. And that was me for a long, long time, because I didn't have someone to run to for answers early on. And it was no fault of Melanie's. When the network first launched, there was no training. There was no YouTube where I could go and watch 8 hours of Melanie Mitro talking, or Lindsay Matway talking, or, Daniel Natoni doing something, or, name your coach. It wasn't there. And so we all had to just figure it out on our own. So mindset is the first one. Sorry, Carrie, real quick. What do you search in YouTube to find those videos before they start auto-populating in your feed? So I'll put in morning motivation. Here, we can play a little. Can I share my screen here? Let's play a game. Yeah, let's do this. Can y'all see? What do y'all see? My back office, like the login? Which screen am I showing here? The login one? Somebody just nod. Does it say Zoom or does it not? Okay, TeamBeach Party. Okay, so if I go to YouTube, and I don't even think I'm signed into my Google on this one. Oh yeah, I am. Okay, so here's all this, like minute hertz. So if I go morning motivation, right there. And look, I've watched a lot of, anytime there's a red line under, I've already watched this one. You need to do this in the morning or change your life. 14 minutes. 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes. The magic of changing your thinking, 5 minutes. I love the fact that Will Smith is getting more into this space. And so what I do is that, like, and I don't necessarily watch it. It's on while I'm getting out of bed, making my bed, going to the bathroom. We'll get a lot of TMI in here. Like, you're trying to get to the bathroom to pee. Like, this is all playing, either in a headphone, if I don't want to wake anybody up, or just there. As I stumble downstairs, as I start making my E&E, because what I realized is there was about 5 to sometimes about half an hour worth of wasted opportunity space there that I could change my mindset for the day, that I could set myself up for success when I'm not turning on the news or turning on ESPN. And these are things that I still want. I want to turn on ESPN in the morning. That's what I want to do. But I know I'm better when I do this. So for me, my schedule, and all I can do is share mine. And I have an ebook I can tell you guys about later that my entire morning schedule is laid out. But for me, it's get up, mindset, roll in the E&E, and push play. Get the workout in. Because I need to attack the day before my day attacks me. I need to attack my mind before my mind attacks me. And the reason I tell people that I've been long for this world is coaching, why I'm one of the few coaches I know that have lost 100 pounds and haven't yo-yoed back with my weight at all, is because I made that battle the number one battle in the morning. Not necessarily my fitness, my nutrition. If I can win that one, I can win the rest, right? And there's good days and bad days with that. But I know I'm spending a lot. I got other things here for you, but if I could just get one thing in for you, it's the long term of this mental battle. And embracing the fact that you have to somewhere fall in love with the grind of this. I used to think when my business got to a certain place, I'm going to be able to put it on autopilot and just, like I said, Success Club points come rolling in, or the checks just keep rolling in, and it's just not true. And you know what? It may be for some people. It hasn't been true for me. It hasn't been true for the majority of the leaders that I know. Eric Worre talks about how the average career in network marketing, you have to be willing to rebuild your team 7 to 15 times. I think I'm on number 3 right now. In 11 years, like a real rebuild. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys because you're leaders in here. Anytime one of us gets on the call and we're like, 15-star diamond coach. I'm not a 15-star diamond coach right now. I think I'm a 6 or a 7 from week to week. Because that's life. And I think you need to know that. Because I think if all we're doing is talking about when we ever peaked, that's like me saying, if I was always introduced as Jimmy Six-Pack abs because I got down to 6% body fat once and took a picture, well, that's not necessarily accurate either. And that's this business. And why do I tell you that? Because I don't want you to think I've reached diamond or I've reached something and then I fell off a little. I must be an awful person. And this is what I find happens. We get to a rank. We hit a milestone. We hit a plateau. And one of two things happens. I didn't even write this one down, but this one's bonus for you. One of two things happens. We either celebrate and we're so excited and exhale and we don't set the next goal and we do. We become that one hit wonder. We become that dude we knew in high school that like all the chicks loved and he had the six pack and had everything going on. And then we come in our 20-year reunion. He's fat and he's bald and he can't keep a job and he's been in jail. And you're like, oh, dude, like you peaked at 18. Like awful. Like don't do that in your business. All you guys are about to hit diamond and just don't peak at 18. Like, so here's the other side of that coin. So on one side, we over celebrate. Oh my gosh, diamond, exhale. Whew, I'm just going to lay here and make the text roll in. Okay, peace. Or I'm going to take care. You know what? I got to diamond, so I better like take care of these 8 people. And what's my team name going to be? And what's my logo? And oh my good gosh, if I could just lovingly shake every diamond that's the first thing that they're worried about is like their team name and their culture and a color. And I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Half of us with team names came up with them just because we didn't have anything in the first place. If you're a part of already an amazing team, take advantage of that. Leverage that you're a part of a community. Don't let your ego get so big that you're like, I need to make my own thing. You know, and I'm just going to say that as a leader who, I struggle with that. I have a lot of amazing leaders on my team. I'm like, if we can all row in one direction, guys, we're unstoppable. It's when we all like, everybody gets in their own little pontoon boat and tries to go one direction, and everybody's having to like double their efforts. Because I need to do a good and right start, and I need to make all my trainings, and I'm like, why? Like, aren't you already a part? I'm not saying don't have a group for your PS coaches. I'm not saying you don't have little things for your team, but like, if you're already a part of such an amazing team, which I know you are, take advantage of it. Take advantage of the work that was done there. So back to the mindset thing real quick. Morning, get that mindset. There's so much little wasted time when you're brushing your teeth, when you're driving the kids to school, when you're anytime, and it doesn't have to be, like I said, half the time I'm not even watching the screen. It's passively in my ear. And I tend to listen to the same things over and over again because there's certain phrases I need to hear. There is an audio that we used to get DVDs of or CDs of that you can watch the whole thing on, in fact, I'm going to put it in the chat box for you guys just because I'm that nice. We used to have a thing called a game plan event, and we get these DVDs, and there was this DVD by Jim Rohn called Building Your Network Marketing Business. And I've listened to that 1-hour audio so often, I can quote it. And here is the brilliance of you guys being in this business and the danger. And I'm about to talk to my team doesn't know what's about to hit them tonight. It's the fact that you can spend all day watching videos on YouTube and the endorphins that are released in your brain, you feel like you're working. Like, as important as this call is, and you're going to get some great information for this, and I really appreciate you being here. But if I came to you and said, cool, tell me how you worked your business today, and you're like, well, I listened to Jimmy's call and he was awesome. Yeah, but you didn't work that day. You know, me setting my mindset that morning isn't doing the work. Me looking at BOD and like, well, lift 4 looks great. But if I didn't push play and pick up some weights, I didn't work out that day, right? So that's the skill set. The mindset. The other part's the skill set. So for me, skill set is, what is it? And I would love to see in the chat room right now, what is it that if I could come and fix one thing in your business, you're like, Jimmy, if I could only be better at, my business would go to the next level. What, like, without thinking about it? Recruiting. Thank you, Jessica. Who else? Inviting. Okay. Keep them coming. Time management. Like it? Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Building a strong team. Following up. Inviting. Building leaders. Ashley, I like that. Putting myself out there. Recruit and build. Getting coaches. Organization. You know, some may be, you know, building an Instagram following, maintaining momentum, how to create better content. Gotcha. Okay. So you've done your mindset. You've done your workout. Somewhere else during the day, I want you to go back and copy. So if I go here, Leo, I'm going to take yours. And I'm going to go to here to my friend Google, and I want to put in creating leaders in network marketing. And Google tells me there's books, How to Build Network Marketing Leaders, Volume 1 on Amazon, 6 Steps to Becoming a Leader in Network Marketing, a blog post from 2014. Like, there's my skill set, right? Where you are beneficial that I didn't have early on was that. If there is something you don't know how to do between your team and Google and YouTube, you know it. Now, here's the other piece of this. I didn't tell you to go spend the rest of the day watching these. The same way, if all I did to get ready for my workout was I kept listening to those motivational videos, but I never pushed play and picked up the weights, my body's not going to change, right? So pick one. So if I'm like, this person right here, this Tanya, so there's, on YouTube, there's little videos here. Here, let's go back to sharing my screen again so you guys can see what I'm looking at. And I'm totally doing this spontaneously, so I hope it works, or I hope this is valuable. But that's usually how I roll. I plan things and then we take a left turn. So y'all see the Google search here? So like how to create leaders in network marketing. Here's an Amazon book. Here's a blog post. Here's a bunch of videos, right? Eric Worre, Lisa Torres, Eric Worre, Matt Morris, creating leaders in network marketing. So I would start reading these. I would start finding these, right? And that's your skill set for the day. How do I stop sharing my screen? Oh, here we go. So that's it. Like the mindset of that is so key. Also, you're getting to Diamond. Do we know why? So this past summit was the first summit in a while I didn't do like a big team meeting. What I did is I sat, because I had a mentor that used to do the same thing. I posted up in the lobby of my hotel and went to my team and said, fill my schedule. And what I meant by that is I opened up 30-minute blocks for anybody that wanted to sit down with me and have one-on-ones. And I sat there for 6 straight hours, no lunch break, a lot of coffee and energized. And I literally looked in people's eyes and I'm like, cool, why are you in this? How long have you been a coach? And then one of the things I ask most people is, in an ideal world, if this could run perfectly, what does this become for you? Because that's a different answer for different people. I used to go to Danny Johnson events, and Danny Johnson used to have this great line. He used to say, whatever motivates, motivates. And I didn't understand it at first. I'm like, what do you mean whatever motivates, motivates? It's the same reason that when I'm inviting people to look at this business, and let's say they watch Introducing Team Beachbody video or our team recruiting video. The first thing I ask them is, what did you like best about what you saw? Because if the first thing I say is, oh my gosh, did you see the fact that we all get to work out with 25,000 people at Summit together? Isn't that awesome? And I'm talking to somebody with like social anxiety. Well, I've kind of lost that person. So why did you get in this? What was it? Because I'm going to bet, was there anybody in here that wasn't a no at least once? Was there somebody in here that literally, because I know there's unicorns that are like, I saw it, it made sense, I signed up day one. There was something you had an objection to, and then something, and not only that you signed up, that you're here, that you're building to Diamond. Like, why is it important to you? Like, what do you want this to be? For some people, it's, I've got to get out of a job I hate, right? So I have a coach on my team, Mary Schrank, was making really good money, corporate job, wasn't somebody I would normally recruit because I'm still intimidated by those people because I never had that job. I was a broke actor. Like, I never had the corporate job. And I always feel like, well, they don't need what we have. What I didn't realize, Mary had the money. Mary had a nice house. Mary didn't have her time, right? And when we got to talking about it, and she's like, Jimmy, all I can do is give you an hour a day. And I said, you give me an hour a day, like literally on your lunch break. If you will work and not kind of fiddle fart around, we can do some stuff. And in 2 years, she replaced that corporate job, right? She replaced that corporate job because she was willing, because she realized what she was sitting on. I'm going to keep bringing that up. So what is it that you want to do with this? Like, if I could tell you, hey, you can achieve whatever you want in this, and I'm not asking about your rank or your, getting a jacket or a t-shirt. I'm like, what would your life look like if this was ideal? For some of you, you don't want to leave your career. You're like, this is your philanthropic thing. This is the thing for your kids. This is to travel. I don't know what that is. You know what that is. And this is why when I sat and did 6 straight hours of one-on-ones with my team, we didn't talk Success Club points and how to get to Diamond. Because if I didn't know why and where they wanted to go with this, then I could reverse engineer and say, cool. So you tell me, let's go back to where I was. So you tell me you're $60,000 in debt, Jimmy. Yes. You tell me that your wife has a job, but you don't bring any income into the household as a broke actor, and all you're doing is coffee demonstrations in New York City. Yep. And you're telling me you want to help pay off this debt and contribute and help your wife get home. Right. Okay, so what does that look like? What would you need to make? So you start figuring that out. Cool. In order to maximize the comp plan and be able to make that kind of money, the first step we need to do is get to Diamond. And here's why. And because I'm not going to take this for granted, that I know why each of you want to get to Diamond, but do you understand, and hopefully, and maybe you do because you're in this training, I do not know, do you understand all the things that unlock to you at Diamond? Do you understand that there's matching bonuses? Are you treating this like a business? And you're talking to a person that didn't for 2 years. I'm not judging you. I didn't. Like, there are certain ones of you that love the P&P. I don't understand you, but you exist. That you'll sit down and read the policies and procedures, and you probably read it 3 times before you signed up. You and my buddy Dave Ward would get along great. You and my wife would get along lovely. I'm an emotional decision maker. There's always an emotional decision maker, and there's like a factual decision maker. I always say, usually in a relationship, there's a wow person and a how person. I'm the wow person all day long. You make it fun. You make me cry. You give me the goosebumps, and I am handing you every credit card I have. There's always the how person. How the hell are we going to make this work? Is there a catch? Are we in a contract? How do we get paid? I was like, I don't know. Both are important. And so for those of you, so you fun people, Carrie, I'm looking at you. You also need to understand how you get paid. You need to understand why Diamond is the foundation that unlocks this. You need to understand why matching bonus is potentially your biggest income earner and not team cycle bonus. Do you understand that at Diamond, every PS coach of yours that's Emerald or above that makes team cycle bonus, you get 10% of? And it seems, because when it starts, you're like, great, I made an extra 50 cents or I made an extra couple bucks. But you know why that one's magical? Because there's no cap on that one. You can cap it, team cycle bonuses, right? So it's understanding, number one, where you want to go with this. And then why is Diamond a foundation piece to where you want to go? And if you don't know where you want to go, you will be one of those people that get to Diamond, fall out, feel bad about yourself, and start like drifting away. And that's the second thing, or third, I don't know what point we're on now. You are not defined by your rank. I just told you, I've gone through 15 star to 6 to 7. However, make a decision now as someone who, once they got to Diamond, they never fell out of Diamond. And this is the mistake I see. There's 2 things. Because you get to Diamond and there's that celebration. We talked about that, right? People celebrate. The other part of that is they don't set the next quick goal. You've made it to Diamond. You've made it through this part of this training. Celebrate. Go buy the outfit or have the drink or see the movie or have the date night or take the spa day, whatever. Like, you need to acknowledge that you've had a good time, because I've seen people that never acknowledge, right? Those are the ones that burn out. They don't. I had a friend of mine that hit 15-star Diamond, and the following week we were at leadership, and she was crying to me about how her business wasn't where she wanted it. And I was like, woo woo. I was like, did you even celebrate hitting 15-star? And she was really honest. She's like, oh no, it was always what hadn't been done. And I get that. I focus on that a lot too. Like, what is left to go do? What's wrong right now? And I get it. So celebrate, but then set the next goal, right? Because there is something psychological at Diamond falling in and out of that. That's really a trap. And just because of the numbers we have on here, oh my gosh, yeah, we're talking to 100 people right now. Some of you are going to fall out of rank, but oh my gosh, I need you to listen. Look me in the eyes. Promise me one thing, that if and when you hit struggles or fall out of rank, the number one thing you will not do is remove yourself from this group because you feel bad, you're a little embarrassed, and you're like, I'll fix it on my own, and then I'll come back. It is the number one mistake you will make, is isolating and pulling away from this amazing team because you're embarrassed, because you feel you've let Leslie down, you've let one of the leaders down, you feel like you've let yourself down, and so you isolate to fix it. It's the same thing in weight loss. I see it all the time. It's why, again, I didn't put weight back on, because I continue to stay in it. There's a YouTube video I can share with you guys later that I have a whole concept talked about, and it's a football analogy about coming back to the huddle. And I can give you the really brief version right now, that if I'm the quarterback and we're the team and I don't play, everybody goes out and supposed to run a route, and I'm supposed to throw you the ball, and you're only supposed to run 5 yards and in, and I'm supposed to throw you the ball, but you get so excited that you run 40 yards down the field, and the play is just a bust because but you choose to sit down in the grass 40 yards away. In a football game, you don't see the quarterback go run out to the wide receiver to check and see if they're okay. When the play's over, all the players come back to the quarterback, come back to the huddle. Because when you come back to the huddle, the quarterback, like Leslie, can come and say, look, let me show you the stuff you did right. You got the snap count right. You ran really hard. You look for the ball. I can fix that. But when you isolate and you sit 40 yards down the field and pout and feel bad for yourself, you're going to build it up to be a bigger thing than it is. You're just going to feel like, I don't know, I've totally let the team down. I've let her down. I've let my coach down. I know she dropped rank. I knew she was trying to get her 5-star bonus or elite, and I've let her down. And oh my gosh, I'm going to pull away. The biggest mistake you can make, stay plugged in, which you are a part of right here, is magical. And a lot of coaches don't have it. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted. The second mistake I see when people hit diamond is they stop doing what got them there. So I don't know if you guys have used this, but a lot of times on my team, there's the little diamond sheet you can print out, right? Like, here's your 4 coaches and your 2 and the 2. I'm sure there's probably some of you, you're diamond, you're like, I did it. It looks pretty. You know what? That's awesome. Hang that sucker on the wall, print out a new one, and start over. Don't stop doing what got you here. This isn't the time to turn and take care of your 8. Because I'm going to tell you something else. 12 people technically, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those 12 people aren't your leaders. Those 12 people are not the people that are going to get you to 2-star, to 5-star, to 15-star. Those are not the 12 people that are going to get you to a 6-figure income. They're not the 12 people that are going to get you $60,000 out of debt. They're not the 12 people that are going to make a college program or a college scholarship for your kids. They're not the 12 people that are going to take the stress off your marriage. They're not the 12 people that are going to let you travel the world or not have to go to that job you hate or get out of traffic. They're just the first 12 people that said yes. We love them. We're thankful for them. 9 times out of 10, half of them are family doing us a favor, rolling their eyes at us. Great. However we got there, we got there. That's okay too. You know, I tell people like, well, I don't want to sign my spouse or my family because that's cheating. Hell with that. Cheat your way there. That's not cheating because the policies and procedures let us do that. Just don't stop there. I am 11 years into this and I'm having conversations daily in my DMs because you know why? I have to recruit to replace daily. Because you know what? I'm a lifer. I don't know that all my people are. I've had people that I swear I knew were in this with a long haul with me. This is my rock. This is my other star diamond. This is that person. And you know what? Shit happens or life goes wrong and they decide to tap out. It's exactly what happened to me after 15-star. I hit 15-star for 2 consecutive quarters. That's a lovely bonus. It's super nice. And I literally had 7 diamonds, all unbeknownst to each other. They didn't come to me together. Kind of individually just go, I'm not quitting, but I'm not working this hard anymore. And in the past, I would have just sweated blood to continue to drag them along. But I got to a point where I was like, I've taken them as far as I can take them. And I knew it was only because I had gotten lazy and not to continue to recruit that I was that reliant on dragging people along. You know when this business isn't fun? You know when you're going to get burnt out? When you want something more than the person you're working with does. When you want it more for them. When you want them to lose the weight more than they want to lose the weight. When you want them to hit Success Club and see that first paycheck, right? And so all we can do is love on these people. I'm working with a group of personally sponsored coaches right now that I just keep popping in and saying, guys, I'm here, but this can't be a one-way street. And the clock is ticking in my head. I'm like, okay, this 6. Man, I'd love one of these to pop. But if I don't see some life, I got to continue to keep moving. So when you get to diamond, do it again and do it again and do it again. Like it never goes away. Now, you will get to a point in your business where if you build this correctly, you can walk away for a few weeks and your paycheck doesn't shift. That's the magic of team cycle bonus. Again, if you don't completely understand the comp plan, educate yourself. Go watch the videos. Ask the team. Because if you're just going to stay in SC mode and you're like, well, I made a good check because, I hit that C20 or 30, it's great. Like retail's the fastest way to make money in this thing. And if you got to have money fast, I tell my team, you can give yourself a raise any week you want to if you're willing to have enough conversations. But if that's the only way you're making money in this business, then you just have a sales job. You might as well go sell cars or refrigerators or something with a higher retail, like a higher commission on it. Here's where the magic happens. And there's a book I came across. Ooh, hold on. I should have already had it ready. I know it's here somewhere. I literally just listened to it or read it this year. It's a 30-year-old network marketing book called The 45-Second Presentation That'll Change Your Life. And it's old school network marketing, but I love the biggest thesis of the book is when you sponsor somebody, when you get those 2 SC points, when you get an extra personally sponsored coach, that's not where your job ends. That's where it starts. It's your job to go to work for that person. Do you want to know what Eric Worre told me? Eric Worre told me when somebody gets into network marketing, and if they don't make any money in their first 6 months, so think of every discount coach you have, their retention rate of sticking around is about 20%. You may blow your mind. If they make $1 in their first 6 months, their retention rate goes to 80%. Is it worth your time to help that brand new coach sell an Energize bucket? So a 3-day refresh. Danny Johnson told me a long time ago, if you help build someone else's paycheck, you'll always have a paycheck. And what happens, and this is where I get frustrated, you're probably get frustrated too, because I bet a lot of you are self-starters on here. You're like, well, I just went and did it, so go do it, chick. Right? I get so frustrated because nobody held my hand and wiped my butt and changed my diaper. I was like, go do it. And now because I couldn't get sucked into watching 12 hours of YouTube videos of thinking, oh my gosh, you know what? That team, they have the best shoes and their hair always looks awesome, and that's why they're great at this. Really early on in this business, so right now, the Elite 10 trip's going on, like the top 10 trips going on, right? The very, very first one of those I got to go on, not because I earned it, because one of my best friends is a gentleman named Tommy Migrant. And Tommy and his now wife, at the time was his girlfriend, had broken up for a month. In the middle of that month, he had to decide who he was taking on the top 10 trip with him. And he's like, hey, do you want to go to France? And I'm like, hell yeah, I want to go to France. So we go to France, and I'm with people that I totally look up to. And I'll say names that you may or may not know. You may be new. Like I just assume like these are legends in our business. But then I also realize that I've been around a long time. But it's the Barbie Calebs of the world and the Dave and Monica Wards and Josh Spencer and Tommy Migrant and a bunch of other people. Plus like Carl Deichler's there and John Congdon, like corporates with us. And I always tell people that trip changed my life. And it wasn't because I learned some secret. It was a bunch of us sitting around drinking a bunch of wine a lot and just like at the end of the night talking about stuff. And when they would turn and look at me like, well, Jimmy, how are you bringing people on? Or how are you this? And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like, why are you asking me? Quite like you guys are the top 10. You're the holy grail of coaching. And I realized they sucked at the same stuff I did. They just were willing to talk to more people. That's it. I had another mentor that told me the magic to this business is whoever tells the story most wins. AKA, how many conversations are you willing to have? How many conversations? And it's not necessarily always just the cute Instagram post and the DMs that flood. And if for some of you, that's been your model and that works for you, awesome. I envy you. Especially as a guy and any other dudes that are on here, like, guys, we know, like, I got some killer pictures and I'm like, man, this post rocks, and it gets crickets, and I see some chick with a cute bag that says nothing and it gets 1 million likes and their DM blows up. I get bitter. I get hella bitter. But you know what I go back to? I can't control that. You know what I can control? How many people I reach out to and go talk to every day. Right? The magic of Instagram isn't about followers and who likes your stuff. The magic of Instagram, and this could be a whole nother training for another day, Leslie, is what hashtags are you looking at and how are you going to have conversations with other people? How are you interacting on their feeds? How are you stroking their ego, giving them what you're hoping your feed would get? Right? Somebody that just has those 3 likes and you come in and like, hey, girl, that's awesome. Thanks for that. Or here's the recipe, or keep it up. I've probably found 6 of my diamonds doing that very thing. Back in the day, it was on Twitter, and now it's the exact same thing on Instagram. And I learned that Gary Vaynerchuk's very first book is called Crush It. And he literally talked about how he used to spend like 10 hours a day on Twitter just knowing what hashtags to search and go and interacting with people. He has a book now. Oh, all the books that I want to grab that are usually on my desk are not here right now. He has another book now called Crushing It, or Crushed It. It's the sequel of it's success stories of people using that very thing. So it's about, are you willing to reach out? Are you willing to serve? Are you willing to have value, add value? And sometimes adding value, do you guys know my coach on my team, Coach Tulane? That chick recruits like a monster, right? One time I asked her, I was like, Tulane, how do you do what you do? She's like, I just do what you taught me. I'm like, hell no, you didn't. I was like, I don't do that. But Tulane, I found on Instagram because she was doing insanity. And I wasn't the first coach to roll by, but I didn't roll by and picture my Shakeology or picture my challenge group. I just said, chick, you're awesome. Keep it up. And instead of being the one-time flyby that was trying to close her, I'd show up again next week. And I'd show up the next week and just tell her, I was like, hey, I believe in you. This is awesome. Keep it up. And then she rolled across the blog post my wife did that said this coaching thing is a scam or something. It was my wife's point of view about how she wasn't really on board. And Tulane was so funny. She's like, okay. She's like, let's jump on the phone. She's like, we're either going to get together, where she goes, we're going to either get along great or this isn't going to go very well. I was like, oh, okay. And she was right. And we got on, and that is my sister from another mister. And I love her dearly. But it's because I took the time and I set the time aside to go interact with other people on social media instead of like, why are my followers? And you want to get really old school, and my team doesn't know this is coming tonight. We're going to do an old school memory jogger tonight. And I'm going to take out the memory jogger from the back office, and I'm going to start reading stuff. Who do you know in Alabama? Who do you know in Colorado? Who do you know as a school teacher? Like, we're going to get about as old school can get. And I'm going to tell them, those aren't the people that are going to build your business either. They're the people who are going to help you find your next leader. And treat every person you bring into this business. I told you, had you recruited me, you wouldn't think much of it. You'd have been like, here's my rock star. Because I didn't have the resume. There was nothing on my docket that said I was going to crush this. It was people believing me before I believed in myself, speaking lots of life into me, challenging me to get to an event, and could just continue to like, do you know what's possible? Because I didn't think it was possible for me. You know, and we still deal with that self-doubt. We all do. So I'm going to look at my notes real quick because I haven't this entire time, but I really feel like I've hit that. It's got it. Hey, that wasn't too bad. And action is always greater than knowledge, guys. But I do want to give, like, I know we have about like 7 minutes here. I do want to be able to take any questions. So I'm going to stop right there. And hopefully I gave you some sizzle and steak, because I feel like we need a little of both at times, right? You need a little raw kick in the tush, like, let's go do it. But then we also need to know, here's some steps. So I really try to provide that tonight, but I do want to, if there was something I wasn't clear on, if there's something you're like, Jimmy, I just need one to say, we have like 6 minutes and let's make it happen. Feel free to put it in the chat box as I sip on my Topo Chico. Has this been helpful? Let's start there. Like, are there things you can take action with here? Okay. Thanks, Lee. I was okay, good, 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 good. Okay, great question about the playbook talks. I haven't done one in a while. I was reminded of that at Summit. Uh, has anybody ever did anybody come to either one of the playbook events I did last year? That was me, Dave Ward, Danielle Natoni, Julie Vorst did one in Philly. I actually have a meeting with Danielle on Thursday about bringing those back. So, but that's good to know that those are helpful. That's how I grew up, was you gave yourself a day with no distractions to learn this business. Thanks. How did you overcome talking about the money? You know, the two objections you're going to get in this business are always time and money, and it's neither. It's value. So if somebody asks me how much does it cost, I never answer that question. I said, I'm glad. I'm always so excited. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited that you're interested. I said, as a business owner, I said, I got a little leeway. So it kind of depends. There's a few ways we can get started. And there's 1 to 2 ways I go about that. If I already know why they want to be. So, hey, I know you're interested. Maybe I'll ask them, why did you want to get started? I want to lose 20 pounds. Great. Well, what does your life look like 20 pounds from now? Oh, because it's not just about the weight, right? It's like, what can you do what do you feel like you can do then that you couldn't do now? I had this exact conversation with my barber today. And he was talking about how he has this closet full of like nice designer clothes that he doesn't feel comfortable in. I was like, okay. And then when they say, well, how much is it? How much is it to get started? Well, we have different packages and different options, which is true. Guys, remember, the 170 lift package isn't the only one. You can go up from there. I had somebody buy the $400 mega pack the other day because I kept asking questions, right? And a lot of times I'll say, well, what was your budget? How much were you looking to invest to make that change happen? What are you worth? Are you on for a pound or are you in for a penny? If you're in for a penny, you're probably going to quit. Do you have any skin in the game? It's the reason back in the day when people were burning copies of P90X and Insanity, most of those people didn't finish because they didn't have any skin in the game. And sometimes people will be like, oh, because they think what we do costs more than it does. Like, oh, I only have, because think about this. Like, I know friends here that go to like Soul Cycle every day at $30 a pop. Like, that gets expensive, right? And so they'll be like, oh, I don't know. I only have $300. And I was like, yeah, that's not enough. I said, that's not much, but I said, look, if I can get you a deal and do you a favor and get it to you for 170, would that help? They don't know it was 170 the whole time. It's all about how I presented it. But if I come up, because there's certain people when they ask, how much does this cost? You could tell them it's 99 cents. Like, oh, I can't do that. Like, ask them. Whatever. No, you're asking me. What are you willing to spend? What kind of results do you want? This other girl was like, and then go for no. Once you're like, well, there's the 170 pack. Cool. All right. Do you take any kind of pre-workout? Oh, no. Well, okay. Well, we have a pre-workout I can add on that also. It's going to help your workouts be better. You're going to get faster results because you're going to have more energy. Would that be good? And I just keep asking questions till they say, no. There's a book that's this thick called Go for No. And it literally changed my outlook on why not just keep asking. How did I get my spouse on board? I got results. I showed her checks. And she also saw a change in me. But there is and I'll have to find it less. Like I'll find that blog post that Tulin read that literally was Kelly's point of view at the beginning. And it's called, and you could probably Google it. You can probably Google Coach Jimmy. We're not doing that Beachbody coach scam thing. That's the name of the blog post. And I probably have 20 coaches on my team because they read that. And also, one more thing. Have you taken the time to sit down and explain to your spouse why this is going to impact you guys? I didn't early on. I just assumed she understood. Like, why am I on a team call on a Tuesday night instead of at the dinner table or cuddling on the couch or watching a movie? That's that thing that you're taking you away from me. But if I sat down, right? Oh my gosh, Olga, thank you. Awesome. If I sit down and say, hey, sweetheart, that we have this debt over our heads, or we've always wanted to take that trip, the kids have always wanted to go to Disney World. Can I sit down and explain to you how I get paid with this and what my goal is with this thing? And can you give me the next 60 days to just really bust my ass for this and maybe sacrifice a few movie nights? And after 60 days, if I don't get it, everything goes back to, and that puts some urgency on you. Because that's what I did too. And it was like, then I had to go. So I literally have 1 more minute. Best tip to convert challengers to coaches. Again, I get them results. I ask them what they've liked best about it. Like, what do you like best about Shakeology? Or what do you like best about being in this program? Like, oh my gosh, the energy. Or I love the way I feel in my dress. Or I have confidence at the swimming pool. I ask one of two things. I either say, oh, that's awesome. Man, who else in your life would you know that would want to feel that good about that? And they're like, oh, my wife, or, you know, my so-and-so, whatever. I'm like, cool. Could we sit and just kind of chit chat? You obviously want to keep going with this. And if I could show you a way to help your friend feel that way and you earn, I don't advertise a discount. I say, if you would like to earn your Shakeology free going forward so you can continue to have those results, is it worth us having a conversation? And I go there. And then I also share our team video with them, which I'll share with you guys. I'm sure you have your own whatever. I ask them to watch this. And then I ask them what they like best about it. So, guys, I hate to chat and run, but I wanted to give you guys the full hour because my team is waiting on me right now.
Thank you. So good. We appreciate you being here with us.
Of course. All right, guys, if you have any other questions, just hit me on social media and I'll get back to you as well.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
It's been recorded.